the Kansas City Dynasty officially over, ladies and gentlemen? Let us know down in the comments. We have our Week 3 NFL Power Rankings. Before we start this video, I want to give a shout out to all the boys in the Discord. I want to give a shout out to all the boys commenting on the videos. I want to give a shout out to my boys in all my group chats for believing in us, for believing in this. Y'all are absolutely amazing. On to number 10. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know I had to put them back in. Some of y'all are going to be mad about this. We have my Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I hate Sam Darnold, and I don't hate Sam Darnold. I love Sam Darnold. I'm actually one of the biggest supporters of Sam Darnold since he came into the league, and he had to be a bottom-of-the-barrel New York Jet. I felt like he was always going to find a place to be a great quarterback, and that place was the Minnesota Vikings. Ladies and gentlemen, a team that I can tell you is not on this list because they decided to move on from Sam Darnold and start a sophomore quarterback that just doesn't have it. But that being said, I don't like Sam Darnold on my Seattle Seahawks. I want to see him eat. I just don't want to see him eat on my team. But the defense, and by the way, Mr. Rogers and Mr. DeKalen, DK Metcalf, you thought you were going to beat my Seattle Seahawks? This defense is top 10 in the league. And we all know the week 1 game against the 49ers was a fluke. We should be 2-0 right now. Brock Purdy, may his foot rest in peace, went out there and made a pass he will never make again in quadruple coverage. So that being said, my Seattle Seahawks, number 10, Old Man Rogers, DK, down in the dirt, ladies and gentlemen, at number, by the way, ranking last week, not ranked, at number 9, Bake Show, Bake Sale, Big Baker Mayfield, and Big Mike Evans going out there and getting it done against little CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. Boy, that Houston Texans team, speaking of a fall from grace, the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud's not looking good. They can't get the O-line right. By the way, traded a amazing, left tackle this offseason. CJ Stroud just getting mauled every time. By the way, getting mauled by a Bucs D-line, that Bucs D-line was looking like some dogs out there, but Bake Show, Big Baker, MF, and Mayfield, ladies and gentlemen. And that defense going out there and swarming the ball. The Texans were swarming the ball pretty good, but the Bucs on defense, a team that, last year defense wasn't great, offense having to pass out of some crazy deficits every game. The defense goes out there, swarms the ball, plays good D in the secondary, gets to the quarterback, stuffs the run. By the way, that Nick Chubb touchdown, take it off the board, doesn't count. They let that happen. We're not putting that against the defense. Big Mike, Egbuka, this wide receiver core, and ladies and gentlemen, when Chris Godwin comes back, oh my God, it's going to be insane. It is going to be absolutely insane. But we got to give the defense credit. We got to give Baker the credit, putting the team on his back on that offense. When they couldn't pass the ball, when they couldn't run the ball, Baker was getting out there and he was making plays happen. Shout out Chauncey Gardner Johnson, whatever your 4 names are together. Get stunted on, sir. Number 9, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last week, they were number 10, so they are moving up 1 ranking. In our rankings, at number 8, we have the Indianapolis Colts. We got Danny Crimes, ladies and gentlemen, because what he did on the New York Giants when he robbed Saquon Barkley of all his money. When he robbed the New York Giants of all his money. What this is showing me with the Indianapolis Colts right here in this situation with Danny Dimes, who he is again out there throwing that rock. There are no bad quarterbacks in this league. I'm convinced there are no bad quarterbacks in this league. There are good quarterbacks in this league in terrible systems they're not supposed to be in. So take that with what you will. And Jonathan Taylor, what was it, 218 yards from the line of scrimmage against a Denver Broncos team that y'all said I was crazy when I said they were only going to win 9 games in this playoff. How's that looking right now? Almost got fraud checked by the Titans. Got fraud checked by Danny Dimes in the Indianapolis Colts, who, by the way, really good defense, really solid defense, really good offense, really solid offense. This is a solid team. If Danny Dimes can keep protecting this ball and if they can go down there, 0 punts on the season. 0 punts through 2 weeks of professional NFL football. You love to see it. Danny Dimes out there hooping. We absolutely love to see that happening right now. Yeah, just good quarterbacks and bad systems. At number, by the way, last week's ranking, not ranked, all the way up to number 8. Love to see it. At number 7, the Kansas City Swifts. Last week ranking was number 6. They are fastly falling from grace. And the thing with the Chiefs that is so weird this year, that is making them spiral to the bottom. The Chiefs have always, this is why they won so many one-possession games last year, and I just knew it wasn't going to be the same this year. I just knew it wasn't going to be the same. They are doing things wrong that they would typically, by the way, Silly Goose shirt, shout out to Silly Goose University. They are doing things wrong they would typically do right. Week 1, it was Lord have mercy. It was Chris Jones stunning on the inside. When he needed to contain Justin Herbert, he messed his job up, got excited, didn't do what he needed to do, ended in an L. This week, Kansas City Chiefs, potential, drive they needed. Travis Kelce, crosser in the end zone, boom, hit him in the hands, throws it to the safety. The Kansas City Chiefs are not executing, and that is what they are branded on. That is what, quite literally, the Andy Reid motto. I don't need you to go out there and make a play every play. I just need you to go out there and make a play when it presents itself. And they're just not executing that. Kansas City Swifts, number 7, lock me in. Oh, if they drop out of the top 10, it's going to be a movie. If they go, do we know chat, who do the Chiefs play this week? Y'all let me know down in the comments. Who do the Chiefs play this week? At number 6, we have the L.A. Rams. Now, this team I didn't think could get a lot more versatile than they did. Then I watched Puka Nacua take a run on a sweep. 50 yards, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, tutty. Last week's rank was number 8, moving on up to number 6. I love Matthew Stafford. I love that he got away from the Lions and he's actually producing now. I mean, he was producing on the Lions, but let's get it real. The Rams won this trade, and it's by a long shot. Just when you thought this team couldn't get better, 50-yard run from a wide receiver. The run game's there. The wide receiver core is ridiculous. Devontae Adams and Puka, and you got a bunch of other guys sprinkled in there that are going out there and doing their job. The defense has come a long way, even from last year. Now, they did pick it up at the end of the year last year. At the beginning of the year, they were ranked one of the worst defenses in the league. You love to see them coming full circle. I think the Rams have a lot of potential. That being said, my Seattle Seahawks are better. Rams, number 6. At number 5, ladies and gentlemen, we have the L.A. Chargers, not straying too far from that Los Angeles skyline. The Chargers are looking absolutely ridiculous. What they are doing with this wide receiver core is absolutely insane. And what I think is going on right now, you know how we knew they could run the ball last year? The Chargers could go out there and absolutely dominate a team on the ground. I think they can still go out there and dominate a team on the ground. I think they're still weaning Amarion Hampton into the offense. He did have a fumble. Shout out the stat correctors giving Justin Herbert that fumble at the end of the game, because I almost lost a fantasy league, because if I would have lost fantasy 2 weeks in a row by a point because of a fumble that I think shouldn't have been credited to that player, I was going to be mad, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to be livid. We got out with the win. Shout out to Amarion Hampton, who I think is easing into the role. When Hampton can't get it going, they throw Najee Harris in and he just starts eating. So that's how I know this O-line is still good. The run game is still good. What I think Harbaugh is trying to do is incorporate that passing game. Get it hot early. And when I say the combination, and this is, by the way, this is the league's worst nightmare. Quentin Johnston turning into a dog. Turning into a dog. And who believed in him the whole time, ladies and gentlemen? This man right here. I traded for him in Dynasty. I think last season sent a 4th round rookie pick. Sat on him. Knew he was going to be a dog. Shout out me. And then if he's not being a dog, Keenan Allen, what he brings that wide receiver core. Oh, and by the way, Keenan Allen 2.0, Lad McConkey out there putting absolute belt on these defenses. They get out with a solid dub. 2 division game dubs back-to-back weeks. That's a hard feat, defeating 2 division rivals back-to-back weeks, and that is massive to start the season. I like where this team is going. And by the way, the defense is starting to look kind of like that Eagles defense last year. You got a guy go down, you can rotate another guy. And who was it? I think Khalil Mack went down. And Lord have mercy, forgive me if I'm about to say the wrong person. Matthew Judon came in. I think Matthew Judon came in, something like that. Some guy like that. Looked just as big as Khalil Mack. Made just as an impact as Khalil Mack. So they got those guys they can rotate in. So that's good. Hopefully, I haven't heard the extent of Khalil Mack's injury. But we did move him down a little bit. They were ranked 2 last week. I moved them down because a lot of the teams we moved up, guys, just deserved it. You know, they went out there. The Chargers went out there. They played a Raiders team. The Raiders aren't good at all. Geno Smith didn't complete a single pass over, 10 yards that wasn't an interception. So we did move them down last week, ranked 2. This week, ranked 5. Still an amazing rank. They really moved down because all the other teams, when you see the other teams, you're going to be like, okay, that makes sense. L.A. Chargers at 5. Moving up our rankings at number 4 from number 5 last week, we have the Green Bay Packers. And I have a little fun fact for y'all. 4 quarterbacks in this organization. Bart Starr, starting out 27 years old when he won a Super Bowl. Brett Favre, y'all know Brett Favre, 27 years old when he won a Super Bowl with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, y'all see where I'm going with this? 27 years old when he won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, how old is he, chat? Oh, he's 26. Turns 27 in November. All 4 of those teams, when they won Super Bowls with their 27-year-old quarterbacks, traded for a defensive stud. Yep. Shout out the Dallas Cowboys, giving the Green Bay Packers a Super Bowl win. Not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I just want to say that is a little thing to keep an eye on. That being said, the downfall of the Green Bay Packers is they're always hurt. Already have a wide receiver broken collarbone. Hopefully, Matthew Golden can go out there and finally have his breakout game, because they've been trying to get him his breakout game for 2 weeks. So hopefully this is the week. Green Bay Packers for last week ranking number 5. At number 3, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Their rank last week was number 4. They went out there and got a massive division dub, 41 points, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was the Browns. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, in the comment. It was the Cleveland Browns. It's a division dub, chat. It is a division win. Even though it was the Browns, nonetheless, major division win. Both offense and defense showed out. Turnovers, defensive touchdowns, I believe. I believe there was a defensive touchdown. There was almost 2. Nate Wiggins almost took that pick to the crib. Lamarvelous Jackson going out there, getting it done on the feet, through the air. Derrick Henry had a quiet day, which is okay. Derrick, he put up enough rushing yards week 1 in a loss to have an off day. Like week 1 he didn't have an off day. He had an on day, but he didn't have an off day. At number 3, Baltimore Ravens, ranked last week number 4. At number 2, a team that should have probably been number 2 last week, but I was just feeling the Chargers after that win versus the Chiefs. At number 2, their rank last week was number 3. 2 this week, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen. I wish I could say that's all I could say for this team, carrying him on the back. I mean, the way he controls the ball, it's kind of like watching Lamar Jackson, except Lamar Jackson's more elusive. Josh Allen is just going to run through your MF and face. James Cook Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this man has the, and I'm going to say this and a lot of y'all are going to be mad. He has the, he gives me Le'Veon Bell vibes. When you watch James Cook in that backfield, how he starts a little slow, he finds the hole, he hits it, he makes the moves he needs to move. It gives me really big Le'Veon Bell vibes. Le'Veon Bell vibes. There we go. See, I probably wasn't even supposed to say that statement, but this 1-2 combo is absolutely insane. And the wide receiver core, kind of getting into it. I'm going to be interested when they activate Gabe Davis, a guy who is familiar with this Josh Allen ran offense. So it's going to add a little depth to their wide receiver core. They got dogs in the wide receiver room. They just don't have that guy yet. But when they get that guy, something is going to happen in Buffalo. But the defense is still a question for me. I feel like they play really good team defense. They need an They need an X factor over there. They're playing really good team defense. Number 2, dear Lord, the Buffalo Bills. And at number 1, y'all know how it is. Even though they can't pass the ball to save their life, they can run the ball like the best in the league. The reigning, defending, Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. Can I get a call in the comments? Last week ranked number 1, and y'all know my situation with this. I did it with the Chiefs last year. I'm doing it with the Eagles this year. To dethrone the best, you have to beat the best. And right now, off a Super Bowl win, the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFL. We'll put some quotations around that. I like how they're running the ball. The defense is looking decent. I say decent. The defense is looking good. If they can get a pass game going, this will absolutely be the best team in football. They don't need to get a pass game going, though. They're tearing it up on the field, just running the ball. But when they do get that pass game going, though, Devontae Smith out here catching bombs. Got to get A.J. Brown going. You got to get A.J. Brown incorporated for his confidence. Like, I get you don't need him incorporated for the wins. You got to get him incorporated for the confidence, especially down the stretch. Lord knows how toxic A.J. Brown is. If he goes another week without getting in that end zone, he's going to explode. This locker room is going to erupt, and that's not going to be good for the Eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our Week 3 NFL power rankings. If I have your team in the top 10, let me know if they're too high or too low. If your team is not ranked, let me know if they should be in the top 10, and let me know why. Let me know if you love these rankings, hate these rankings, down in the comments. Don't forget, like and follow.